The first rule Princess Valeth learned was never open a locked mercy door, because mercy invited assassins, scandals, and wars wearing polite smiles. Yet, when a wounded human fell beneath her balcony during the blue eclipse, gripping a burned child's bracelet, she opened the door anyway, by sunrise. Every gunship above the glass moon would be hunting him. He did not beg. That was the first thing she noticed. Aliens begged before royalty. Traitors begged before execution bells. But this human only leaned against the marble wall, blood sliding from his hairline, and said, "Hide me for one night, Your Highness. After that I will leave." His shoulder hung broken, his breathing scraped, yet his eyes were steady, finished with fear. Valeth should have summoned guards. She was heir to the Thalaran crown, daughter of an empress who called humans useful because they died slowly in wars. Instead, she sealed the balcony and carried him into her observatory. Then the stars outside began going dark. His name was Elias Rook, a dock engineer from Cairn Vale. No rank, no noble blood, no treaty shield, nothing worth endangering a princess, said advisor Marith. When Valeth ordered medicine, she asked why 6 black cruisers had entered orbit for one refugee. Marath paused for less than a breath, long enough for her. The human was not being pursued, he was being erased. Elias woke beneath star maps and asked, "Did they land yet?" Valeth said yes. 6 cruisers, no banners, Ash Covenant, he said. They do not arrest people, they delete witnesses. Valeth knew that name from Forbidden Whispers, the Empire's Shadow Knives. She asked what he had witnessed. Ilias opened his fist, showed the bracelet, and answered, "My daughter dying under a peace flag." The refugee was not running from war. He was carrying proof of one. Cairn Vale had surrendered under an imperial mercy edict. Civilians were promised evacuation, food corridors, hospital ships. Elias had been repairing fuel lines when sirens changed pitch. He hid in a crawlspace and watched relief ships close their doors. Watched Covenant frigates burn camps from orbit. Watched commanders record the massacre as a rebel accident. His wife died in the first firestorm, his daughter in the second. Elias survived because humans were hard to kill. He stole a shuttle and carried a data core encoded with orders signed by Valeth's mother. Valeth wanted to call him a liar, because if he told the truth, the Empress was a butcher wearing stars. Yet the data core opened only to royal blood. And when Valeth pressed her palm against it, the observatory filled with transmissions. Commanders asking if children counted as witnesses, a cold imperial voice replying, "No witnesses remain, if no children remain." Valeth staggered back. Elias watched without triumph, only exhausted pity. He had crossed dead systems because humans did impossible things when the dead had no one left to speak. Then the palace bells began to toll invasion. The Ash Covenant entered in polished bone armor, led by Lord Keterin, the Empress's quiet executioner. He bowed in the throne hall and requested permission to search for a diseased human contaminant. Court nobles believed him instantly. Fear loves a clean lie. Valeth stood above him while behind a false wall. Elias bled and rewired the palace defense grid. Keterin said hiding the refugee would be treason. Valeth answered that threatening a princess without proof would be suicide. The court laughed nervously. Keterin did not. He looked at the hidden wall and whispered, "Human, your child screamed longer than expected." The wall exploded. Elias came through fire like grief-given hands. Carrying only a cutter and a stolen pistol, he shot the lights first. Because humans knew darkness belonged to whoever prepared for it, Covenant soldiers fired at heat shadows. Keterin raised a gravity lance, and the hall became thunder. Elias should have died in the first volley. Instead, he moved through places noble soldiers ignored. Under tables, over rails, through smoke ducts. Turning elegance into traps, the Thalaran had perfected honorable combat. The human had survived hunger, vacuum, fire, and loss. Honor had never kept him alive. That was when the princess chose her side. Valeth activated the ancient crown sigil, the war seal that broadcast to every fleet in world. Keterin shouted for her to stop. Elias shouted for her to get down. Valeth ignored both. She lifted the data core in her bleeding hand and let Karen Vale speak. The hall filled with children crying, commanders reporting target saturation, her mother giving the order, no witnesses, no mercy, no record. Across the Empire, screens flared alive. Nobles froze, soldiers stared, mothers understood what peace had cost. Keterin lunged for the core. Elias intercepted him. The gravity lance punched through the human's side. Valeth screamed, but Elias pulled himself deeper onto the weapon instead of away. No sane species did that. Elias smiled with blood on his teeth and drove the cutter into Kedron's armor seam. For Karin, he said, white fire bloomed. Kadirin fell, burning, and Elias fell beside him. But humans do not end when they fall. Valeth caught him before his head struck the floor. His skin was already cold. Did it reach them? He asked. She looked at the recorders. The silent court, the Empire breaking open, and said, everyone heard. Elias breathed once. Stubborn, even against death? Tell them we were here, he whispered. Valeth closed his fist around the burned bracelet and promised, I will tell them until the stars are tired of hearing it. The Empress denied everything for 13 minutes. Then outer fleets turned their cannons toward the capital. Governors surrendered archives, admirals released prisoners, soldiers painted human names on their armor. Valeth entered court with Elise's data core at her belt and his blood drying on her sleeve. Her mother called her corrupted by a primitive. Valeth answered that the primitive understood honor better than every throne. Then she ordered the Empress arrested. And not one guard refused, a year later, on Karin Vale, where earth flowers grew through cooled glass. Empress Valeth unveiled a monument shaped like an open door. The Empire expected justice, rebuilding, alliance. Instead, she told the truth. I hid one human because I pitied him. He saved us because he pitied us more above them. Human and Thalaran ships flew through a clean sky. And every hunter learned what humanity truly was. Not prey, not witnesses to a race, but the spark that crawled from ashes, carrying proof, grief, and stubborn mercy to burn an empire clean, then leave something better standing.